everybody, how are you? Hope that you guys are having an absolutely wonderful and amazing day. It's Fabi Paolini here, brand strategy coach and designer. And I'm so freaking excited about coming to you guys today and talking about the wonderful things that we're going to be talking about in the next 3 days. I kind of decided to put together this video series called Get Your Biz Together to kind of give you guys all the tools and all the things that you need in order to get your business going. I'm truly excited about this, and I feel that it is really important. I have to look at my notes just because I want to make sure that I don't forget anything of the things that I want to tell you guys. But this is going to be extremely powerful and extremely good. And today we're going to be specifically going to be talking about how to stop dreaming and actually start taking action. And basically this is all about letting go of self-doubt, right? Because the thing is that most of us have a ton of dreams and a ton of ideas and things that we want to do, right? And what tends to happen is that fear sometimes gets in the way from us doing things that have to get done. We overthink, we overanalyze, we paralyze ourselves from taking action. We basically rationalize everything and convince ourselves that we're not good enough, that we're not ready enough, and we're not whatever enough, so we stop ourselves from taking action. And what I think that tends to happen a lot, and one of those things that that are part of the reason why we don't take action, is that we think that we have to have it all figured out first. Like, I have to know exactly what I'm doing, all the steps, all of the things that we need to be doing moving forward before I take action and I go forward. And we think that we need more clarity around our offers, our service, our message, and how we're going to basically implement and execute everything. So what happens is that we get more education, we take more courses, we buy more programs, we read more books, and we just end up adding more to our plate. And at the end, what we have is like this eternal list of things that we have to do or have to learn, which adds more overwhelm because we're stuck on like, okay, what do I need to do next, right? Does that make sense, right? So we're like, I have to do, like, I need to figure everything out. I need to know everything that I'm going to be doing moving forward. And we add more and more to our plate. And then we're like, shit, what do I do now? Like, what's the next step? Like, how do I take action? Does that make sense? So what happens is, and this is kind of crazy because it's like this horrible loop, is that we end up procrastinating by learning more, right? So we delay by adding more things that we need to be doing. We add like, okay, let me learn a little bit more because I'm clearly not ready. Let me add another course or buy another book or do this other thing. And it's like, So what I want to do today is kind of help you guys change that by getting you to get honest with yourself and looking at things in a little bit of a different way. But before that, I do want to I want to tell you a little bit about me. I am an extreme action taker. Like I'm the type of person that when I was in college, first day at class, they were like, okay, at the end of the semester, we're going to have to turn this project in. I was the type of person that started working on it the first day, and I was done like a month and a half before I was due. Kind of annoying for everybody else because everybody's like scrambling in the middle of like the night, 4 a.m. working on a project. I'm like, it's been done for like a month and a half. So that's how I've always been. I'm an extreme action taker. I am an insanely productive human being. And for me, when I look at my own story and my own success, I really can attribute a lot of it to the fact that I'm just like, I'm in, let's go, let's take action, right? And I really want to break things down for you guys in a way in which hopefully by the end of this, you're going to be ready to take action and get going, right, with the things that we want to do. So the first thing that I want to cover, the first thing that I want to talk about before anything else is that what you want to get very clear on before you're like, okay, these are the things that I want to do, is understanding why you want to do these things. Like, I know that we've heard it a million times. We've heard a gazillion times, like, oh, start with why. What is your why? Like, this is almost cliche thing. But, you want to understand, like, what is it that you want to change? What is the real thing? What is it that you're really focusing on changing right now? Like, what is your why behind everything? And the way that I look at it is that there's essentially two types of whys, right? There's what I call your internal why and the external why. And for me, the internal why is really like the personal reason behind why you're doing things. Like, what is the thing that's personally driving you? Obviously, for a lot of us, like, let's get honest with it, money is a big thing, right? Like, we're like, okay, I want to have more money, especially if it's around being an entrepreneur, of course. Like, I want to have more money. I want to have more freedom. I want to be financially free, or I want to buy the things that I want. And it is a perfectly valid why to have. And then another, like, personal, like, why is around, like, what is that real motivation that you have? Is it about proving to yourself that you can do this? Is it about setting an example? So I'll tell you, for me, for example, a big thing that has been important in my own life has been, being able to balance these roles of being a full-time entrepreneur and a full-time mom at the same time, and being able to show my daughters that you can have it both. Like, you can have everything that you want and you can build the life that you want without any limitations. I grew up with this notion that women are supposed to be housewives and moms, and that's it. Like, basically that's what I saw in my life. And I don't want my daughters to grow up like that. So for me, part of that internal why is really changing these patterns for them and for my future generations as well. And really, like, helping women feel that way. So you want to get clarity around what your internal why is. Like, what is this thing that's going to get you to get up every single morning, right? No matter what. And then the other part is what I call the external why. And it has to do with the impact that you want to make in the world. For me, like, this is more of a romantic approach to your why. And it really has to do with helping other people. Because sometimes, and the thing is with your external why is that sometimes it's going to show up, as you work with people. Does this make sense? And let me know in the comments if you have a little bit of clarity around what your why is, your internal and external, and those two things make sense. But the external why for me sometimes shows up once you start taking action, right? You get hooked on looking at your clients and seeing them get results and inspiring other people and helping others get a transformation. So you were like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. You can kind of visibly see how you're helping people make an impact, or how you're making an impact or helping people change their lives, right? And the thing is that when you're really clear about that why, whether it's the internal one or the external one, what happens is that it becomes the driver, right? It becomes this force that keeps you focused and moving forward. Because let's get honest here, life is going to happen. Like, it's inevitable. You might be, focused and taking action, but life is going to happen. You're going to have things, obstacle, personal messes, emotional roller coaster. I have a friend that's like, I got a shit sandwich thrown my way. That's how she calls it. I laugh every time she says that. But there's going to be crap that's going to come your way. That some of it is in your control and a lot of it isn't. Like, just to give you an example, literally last week on Friday, on Thursday, my dad had to go into this emergency surgery. He had like a rupture in his intestine and they had to operate him, and he's in Spain on vacation. And it's like, obviously, thank God he's fine, but it could have been really, really horrible. And these are external things that happen to us that we have zero control over, right? And if I didn't have that notion of like what my why is and why I want to make an impact for me, like, I want to make more money, I want to change my daughter's lives, I want to change my clients' lives, like all these things, these sort of external triggers might throw us off on our game completely and be like, like, I could have, like, if I wouldn't have been focused on this, I could have said, okay, I'm canceling the whole video series this week because I'm not focused enough, or I need to do this, or like, I want to travel to Spain to be with my dad. He's fine though, but you know what I mean? Like, because once you have that clarity around what it is that you want and why it is that you want it, it really becomes this driving force, right? In my own life, I have had thousands of reasons to want to quit. And the reason why I haven't is that because for me, it's not an option, right? Like, it isn't an option. Quitting is never an option for me. For me, it's like, I'm getting there, I'm taking action, I'm doing the things that I need to do in order to get results, no matter what comes my way, right? And when you think about, for you, what your why is, you want to make sure that it's something that is so powerful that nothing is going to throw you off. Like, you're going to have external events. Like I said, you're going to have these triggers, and you're going to maybe have a day or two where things are like, I feel like crap, but you're going to get back up again. You're going to wake up again, and you're going to feel energized and ready to go because you have no choice, right? Like, it's something that is internal and that is so strong that you have to take action. Does that make sense? So when you have that clarity around, okay, why do I want to do this? And why, what's this internal why? And what's this external why? What's this driving force? It means that those things and those fears, and we'll talk about that in a second, that are paralyzing you, they become secondary because your why is so strong that you're like, I'm moving forward no matter what. And I need to stop dreaming and actually start taking action. You want to give yourself a reason to take action no matter what's happening, right? And I like to think of it like if you're exhausted from a hike, right? You're hiking, you're in a mountain, and you could barely walk, and you're really, really tired. And then suddenly, like, a tiger came at you, running at you. You are sure as hell we're going to find the strength to run as fast as you possibly can. Like, right? Wanting to stay alive is a pretty darn important or strong why that's going to keep you focused, right? So that's what I want you to think about when you look at your why. Like, this is, I want this, like, maybe it's, I hate my job, or I want to change. And there's kind of two parts, like, we talked about internal why and external why, but also there's this, like, you're running towards a dream, or you're running against a dream or against something. So maybe it's like, I grew up a certain way and I don't want to have that be my life. So you're running away from that. Or I hate the job that I'm at and you're running away from that. Or it's like, I want this thing, like I want to buy a new house, or I want to have these things, or I want to like go on, like travel around the world, or whatever it is. And those are things that you're running towards, right? So you want to think about, okay, what is this driving force? Like, what is really the thing that's going to be like, I feel like crap, I have all these fears, I have all these things. And again, we're going to talk about those in a second. All these things are going on, but I also have this why that is so powerful, and it's so, so strong that I don't really care about like all these little fears and things that are coming up, because I'm going to take action no matter what. Does that make sense? So, really you want to feel like you don't have another choice. Like, this is it, right? So once you're really clear about your why, you're like, okay, I'm in. I know what I want to do. I know why I want to do it. What tends to happen is that we start to look for reasons why we're not going to make it, right? We start rationalizing and trying to control our dreams and our vision. And the truth is that this is all rooted in fear, okay? So what happens is that we start looking for external excuses that are keeping us from taking action, because really at the end of the day, we're really, really scared. And we tell ourselves, I don't have enough time. I'm not good enough. There's already a lot of people doing this thing. Like, why would anybody want to hire me? Or, like we rationalize all of these things and all these reasons why we're not going to be taking action. So let's talk about that fear for a minute. And what I want you to do is get really honest with yourself around the fears that keep on coming up again and again and again in your life. So what is it that you're really afraid of, right? Are you afraid of failing, or are you afraid of succeeding? Because we like to tell ourselves a lot that we're afraid of failure. Like, oh, most people, you talk to them, you're like, okay, what's keeping you from taking action? You know your why, you have this vision, you really want it, right? But you're like, I'm just scared to fail, right? And with that, I have to say, like, you remember this quote that the truth, like, the people that matter don't care and the people that care don't matter, right? I feel like that really is important around this, because the truth is that the only person that's going to really care about whether you fail or not is you. I mean, think about, like, are you in your life looking at people where they're failing all the time and like, oh, she failed. Oh my God, I saw you. Like, you're not really. All of us, we're really like, we're living in our own little worlds, focusing on your own story, on your own thing, your own fears, your own thing. We all have so many stories and so many things going on in our lives, right? So you have to remember that at the end of the day, it's you who gets to sleep with you every single day. Like, it's you, not anybody else. And what you don't want is to end your life and be full of regret, thinking, shit, I should have done things differently. I wish I could have taken action, but I was so afraid, right? This is your life. It's not your dad's. It's not your friends. It's not Becky. It's not, like the Pablo girl from high school. It's yours. And you get to live with the decisions that you take, decisions that you make every single day. And not making a decision is also making a decision. Not taking action because you fear that you're going to fail is really deciding to stay comfortable and to stay small. And the truth is that, I believe that the real thing that most of us are scared of isn't truly failure, but it's success. I really believe that we are afraid of our own power, right? Like we know that if we were to step into our full, unapologetic, powerful, strong version of ourselves, it means that we would have to let go of this persona or this person that we've been so used to living in, like this victim mentality and shrinking that it serves ourselves, like it serves us so well. Like it is so comfortable playing small, staying small. It's the easiest thing in the world. Like, it's easy doing all these things that we've been used to doing all our lives, every single day, knowing that we're never gonna get our hearts broken, knowing for sure that you're gonna be okay, right? Like it's easy, right? But like, let me ask you, are you here to live an okay life? Are you here to settle? Or are you here to make your life extraordinary? Again, like you are the one that gets to sleep with you every single night, right? It's not anybody else's dreams or anybody else's life that you're living. It's you living your own life. So are you going to make your life an okay life, or are you make it amazing? Because I can tell you that I'm here to make my life incredible. Like I want to live to my fullest potential. I want to push myself. I want to achieve. I want to do things. I want to be happy. I want to be fulfilled, right? And I don't want to stay playing small. And we're really afraid to live in our own power. We find excuses to support that perspective too, right? We think like, oh, I'm not going to be able to handle it. It's impossible to be successful and be a good mom. Or, we start judging people who are rich and have this life that we desire. And really, it's, again, your fear creeping in. But what if you did take a chance? What if you took action knowing for a fact that no matter what's happening for you, like what's going to happen, you're going to be able to handle it, right? The truth is that if you're here right now, if you're watching this video, you've handled everything. Everything that's happened in your life, you've handled it, right? Like some of you guys may have been through shit. Some of you have been through like not shit, or it doesn't matter. Like all of us, we've been like through a lot of things in life. Bad, horrible, not so bad, okay, great. No matter what, you've handled it already. Why is it going to be any different for you taking action, right? I mean, you're human, right? I get it. And we've all faced crap. But what I would recommend is, or what I tend to do is gather all the evidence that you have in your life where you have been able to handle it before. So for example, I tend to do that a lot. If I get into fear, like, oh my God, like this is going to happen. What if I can't handle all that success? Or like, what if I don't know what to do or whatever? I look at all the examples in my life where I've been able to handle it. So I graduated cum laude from college with a double major. Handled it. I was able to graduate from the top of my MBA class, like one of the toughest MBA programs in Latin America. I graduated top of the class, even though I had never seen like derivatives and integrals. I don't know if you call it like that, but like all of that complicated math stuff, I'd never seen it. And I was able to graduate top of my class, handle that. I was able to build an online business as an immigrant, despite the fact that I knew nothing about building an online business. Handled it. I've been able to be a mom to two amazing daughters and build my business doing that and having them on my lap. Fortunately, the baby's sleeping right. I have a 4-month-old baby and a 3-year-old daughter. So, I've been able to handle it. I've been able to take my business to multiple six figures in less than 18 months. Handled it. I've been able to make over $500,000 in the last 2.5 years. Handle it. So look for evidence in your own life where you've been able to handle it, where you can do it, where you've been like, you know what? I faced this obstacle and I made it happen. And I know that there's a ton of things that you can look at and where you can find proof. So all of those BS excuses and fears that you're telling yourself about why you were going to fail or how you're going to not be great or whatever, like they're not the truth. You want to face them on and tell them, you know what, you're lying. You all you want is to keep me small. All you want is to keep me comfortable because it's easy and it feels so nice and comfy staying small. But that's not the truth. That's not what you're here for. Another fear that comes up a lot, and one of those things that stops you from taking action, is thinking, who am I to do this? Like, I'm not an expert. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not experienced enough. I'm not blah, 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 blah. Again, this is bullshit. This is another stuff I think that's not true. Yet it's so powerful that it's one of those things that keeps us procrastinating the most of all, right? So again, we're not enough, so we add more. We add more things to study, add more things to learn, add more. You think that you're not enough, so you're always waiting until you are enough to get into taking action. And a lot of it comes from us comparing ourselves to other people, right? Like, oh, look at what this person is doing. It's amazing. And I'm not there. I'm not even close. Like, why would anybody hire me, right? And like, you know, all these little things that we have to do. And I'm going to get into what you actually do need to have and like, why would anybody hire you tomorrow? So definitely make sure that you come here at noon again. But, you know, what I want you to understand is that for now is that the reason why people want to hire you is because of you, right? People are going to resonate and connect with what is honest and what is authentic and what is real. So for me, for example, I might have people in my audience who want to hear about like somebody like me, not somebody who's already making millions of dollars, but somebody who gets what it's like just starting your business, right? Because I restarted my business just 3 years ago. Somebody that can relate to those fears, somebody that has lived through these things. People are going to relate to the fact that I'm a full-time entrepreneur and a full-time mom, right? I mean, like all of these things are things that make me who I am. And that's what people relate to. So people are also going to relate to you no matter where you are. You want to think about that. There's billions of people out there, like millions that need somebody that's exactly like you. Not me, not Jane with 1 million followers, not Anna with her cute like little YouTube channel, not Pat with her photos in Bali. No, they need you. Your stories, your experiences, your flaws, all of these things, they need you. And just to give you a little bit of perspective, when I launched my business online about 3 years ago, I discovered like it requires a lot of personal development. I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about mindset when I started building my business. And I spent hours studying and reading and just eating up everything that I could get a hand on. Like I bought like Jen Sincero's like You're a Badass book, and I bought Gary Bernstein's The Universe Has Your Back. And like I bought all the books and read all the, like listened to all the podcasts and watched all the videos and all that stuff, right? And for me, it was like, what is this? This is amazing. But now when I look back at a lot of that stuff, I'm like, well, actually, this is pretty basic. You know, obviously 3 years in, I find it to be really basic. But the thing is that those things that I learned then, they were exactly what I needed at the time. So I want you to ask yourself, what are you holding back from sharing because you think that it's too basic or too easy, right? I want you to remember that for a lot of people out there, whatever you have to share is still going to be really powerful and really strong. The other thing is that a lot of times when we hold ourselves back from sharing, it's like you're really being really selfish with your information, right? You're making this about you. Going back to what I said in the beginning of finding your internal and external why, that external why of making an impact, when you're all like, oh my God, I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough, or I'm this, or I'm that, you're all like, you're looking at yourself and you're forgetting that there's so many people right now out there who are miserable or are having a really tough time in one way or another. And here you are with the antidote and you crying about how you suck. Like, what are you doing, right? It's like if you're a doctor and you had a cure for this incredible painful disease and you aren't giving people the shot because, oh my God, there's somebody else out there that has a much more experience. Like they should probably go to them. What are you doing? Like you have this person right in front of you. They need you right now. So give them the cure. You know what I mean? Like stop comparing yourself or looking at other people, but look at yourself and what you have and stop making it about you. I mean, I get that you want to make more money and you're scared of failing or doing things wrong or whatever, but what are you going to, like, what are you waiting for? Because I'm going to give you a little secret around failing. You're going to fail at things. You're going to fail at some things. You are going to get things wrong. It's impossible to build success without going through little failures or things that you're like, oh, this wasn't the right way of doing this. It's about that, or like whatever. Like we all have that. We all have those things going on. Like the people that you keep on looking up to and being like, oh my God, this person's amazing. They have screwed up a bunch of times. They don't have it all figured out, right? And they might not tell you about it, but it's the truth, right? The difference is that those failures, those little failures or those mistakes, they haven't stopped them from getting back up. But what you have to do is just keep on going, because the only way up is by walking, like getting up and doing it. You know, you can learn all that you want to swim. Like you can go on YouTube and watch like 20,000 hours of videos on how to swim and read books on swimming and like listen to audios on swimming. But the only way that you can swim is getting in the water and actually moving your arms. The only way for you to get clarity is by you taking action, is by you getting out there and taking action and doing the things that have to be done. Like instead of you overthinking, like, wait, like, what if I get this wrong? Or what if I get this right? Or what if I'm too successful? Or what if I fail? Or like, what should I do next? Or let me just add more, maybe learn more, let me do more. Instead of you doing that, just take action. Just get up and do it. And if you screw up, you fix it along the way. Like, if I were to show you right now what like my business used to look like when I started 3 years ago, right? When I launched it online 3 years ago, it was like, what is this? Like, what I was giving my clients is completely different to what I give them today. But I took action. I still took clients and I gave them as much value as I possibly could, because I'm obsessed with value, like giving people as much value. And I learned along the way, and I still change and I still add stuff to it. Like literally a couple of weeks ago, I added a new training for my clients because I really want them to get as much value as possible. And as I learn, I give it to them. Does that make sense? So really, like, you thinking like it has to be perfect, really, it's a way for you to keep yourself from taking action. This thing of like, oh, well, I'm just a perfectionist, I'm a perfectionist, I'm just waiting for it to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. The only way things are perfect is by you learning, improving, and putting it out there. Like, for example, with my webinar, I've done like one of my main lead generations mechanisms is an automated webinar, and I have done it like 13 times by now. Like, I have 13 versions of it or something like that. And each time I do it, I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. Like, this is spot on. And I put it out there and I'm like, shoot, like a few months go by or a few weeks and I'm like, oh my God, I have an idea of how I can improve this and make it really powerful. So I get back, I re-record, I do it live again, or I do whatever I can, and boom, I put it out there and I'm like, this is it, this is perfect. And I'm always looking for ways to improve, but it really comes back to you taking action, right? Like learning, getting out there, like, it's like when kids, like right now I have a 4-month-old. She's very young still, but, I'm trying to get her to kind of sit down. She's still a little bit small, but the doctor was like, okay, you want to try to pop her up so that she kind of tries and starts getting her core stronger. I pop her up, she falls back, topples down to the side, and I get her back up and I get her back up. And I'm not going to stop because she's like, oh, she fell, whatever. Like, I'm not going to, I'm not going to try teach her how to sit anymore because she fell. No, I'm going to keep on going. And she's going to, even when they walk, right? Like, they fall and they get back up and they get back up and they get back up. And she's trying and she's falling down right now. Like, obviously she's small, but we get back up and we learn as we go along the way. You want to stop dreaming and start taking action. The way that you do it is by taking action, like literally, right? By looking at these things that you can improve. Like, what are those things? Confronting those fears that you have that are telling you, oh, you have to perfect, oh, you have to learn more, or you're not enough yet. There's more. There's like this thing of like, oh, you need to have 10,000 hours to become an expert or whatever. Like, I don't know who made that rule up, but 10,000 hours in order for you to become an expert or whatever. Like, once you start getting over all of these little stories that you're telling yourself and start taking action, that's when you get things to happen, right? And the thing is, like, I try to see it like you're this big elephant. I don't know if you've ever seen that like cartoon of this big elephant who's tied to a little tiny chair, right? Though that's you right now. You have all of these amazing possibilities in you, these dreams, these ideas, these like this possible impact and this possible success and this power in you. But your doubts are like this little tiny rope that's tied to a small chair, keeping you as this elephant, holding you down. Like, I can't move because I'm not good enough yet. You know what I mean? Stop it. You're an elephant. Like, be the elephant. Get out there. Like, run. Whatever elephants do, right? Get clarity around, okay, what is this fear really about? And first of all, get evidence about why it's not true, right? Why it's not true at all. And then secondly, ask yourself, what is it that I actually do need to be doing, right? Like, okay, I get that this fear is here. I get that I'm procrastinating. I get that I feel like I'm not enough. I know that it's easy. Again, it's like your mind, your brain is hardwired to keep you safe, to keep you just like, as I was talking to a coach earlier today, she's like, your brain is telling you, okay, you didn't die yesterday. Let's do the same thing that you did yesterday so that you don't die today, right? You're hardwired to be safe. That's it. So getting out of your comfort zone and doing things that are not what you're used to, even if your life sucks, but at least you're alive and at least you're mildly safe, well, you're going to stay there. So you want to get honest with, okay, what are these things that I'm afraid of? What are these things that are stopping me from taking action? What are these things that I actually need to be doing to get me moving forward, right? And looking at, okay, all right, I know the fear. I'm going to decide, I know why I'm doing things. I have my drive, like I have my motivation. I know these fears. What do I actually do need to be doing? Getting honest with yourself. Like, is it build my YouTube channel? Is it build like my Instagram following to 10,000 people before I offer anything? Is it like, what is it that I actually need to be doing? We'll talk about the details of what you actually need to be doing in order to have a business and to be successful in your business. We'll be talking about that tomorrow and on Wednesday as well. But right now is like, what are the major milestones, the major things that you actually need to be doing in order to get results, right? What are those things? Write down those things as much as you possibly can and get as much clarity as you possibly can around what are the actual next steps that I need to take, right? So hopefully all this has been really helpful for you guys. I'm going to be sending you guys through email a PDF, which is going to break down all these things, like a workbook for you guys to fill out and get clarity around, okay, what is my why? What are the things that I really want to be doing? What are the things that are keeping me back? But really when I think about taking action and when I think about, okay, like how to stop self-doubt and all that stuff, it really comes down to you facing your fears. It really comes down to you facing those things that are holding you back, like that rope, right? Like that elephant with the rope, and saying, you know what? I refuse to let my life be controlled by something that isn't real. That is just a belief that could be very well be transformed in a second, right? Like things can change so fast, you know? Your life can change in an instant. And sometimes we get stuck to thinking that our life is going to be the same, right? And we're afraid. We're like, oh my God, you know, it has like with weight loss, you know, I've tried losing weight a million times and it's never worked. So why would I try again? Because it always never works. You know what I mean? So sometimes we don't do it because we're kind of hardwired to see, oh, you know, clearly this isn't working. Clearly this hasn't worked before, so it's not going to work again. So maybe I shouldn't even try. But that's not true. It only takes one time for it to be different. It only takes a second, like a moment, you know, a moment for your life to change. But it will never change if you're stuck doing the same thing. It will never change if you're like, okay, I'm just going to stay here comfortable in my little home and not do anything, or in my job that I hate, or I'm doing these things that I haven't. Like, I really need to do something. You know what I mean? Like, you want to get honest with yourself. Like, again, and I've said it a few times, but I'm repeating it again. This is your life. You're the one that gets to sleep with you. You're the one that gets to live your decisions. So stop deciding to stay comfortable. Being uncomfortable is tough, but it leads to life. It leads to those moments, the bad moments, the good moments, but it leads to you living a life full of richness and full of amazing things and full of, you know, wonder and bliss and happiness and fulfillment. So stop staying comfortable. Stop playing small and stop taking real action that's going to get you the results that you deserve, because you don't deserve. Here's what you don't deserve. You don't deserve to dream and do nothing with it. Like, I really genuinely believe that if we have a dream, you know, it's there for a reason. If we have a vision, it's there for a reason. I don't believe that we have these dreams and ideas just so that we can dream. You know what I mean? Like, oh, just stay at home wondering what life could have been like. I genuinely don't believe that. I believe that if we have a dream within us, it's because it's within our capacity to make it true. You know, it is there for a reason. So take action on it. Go out and take action on the things that you really want to be doing. And again, if it means you reconnecting back to your why and getting really clear, like, okay, why do I want this? Like, first of all, what do I really want? Obviously, right? But then why do I want it? And what are the things that are stopping me from making it happen? 99 times out of 100, right? It's going to be something mindset. It's going to be out of fear, something that is stopping you. Resources are always going to be found. Time is always going to be found. Like you can figure out pretty much everything in your life. You've figured it out so far, right? So these excuses that you're putting on yourself, there's just excuses because you want to live in fear, because you want to live in comfort. So get out of your comfort zone and start taking action. All right? Hopefully it was as good. Was this helpful for you guys? I hope that it was. And we're going to be talking more about this tomorrow and on Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about specifically about like the bottom line things that you need to actually get doing for you to build your business. Like, what is the foundation that you need? Now, you might already have a business, right? A lot of you already have a business. So really it's, okay, how do you get your business together? Like how do you get your shit together really in your business? That's kind of what I wanted to say, but I want to say like a swear word in the title of it, but really that's what it's around. And then we're going to talk about building a powerful offer and charging premium pricing and what you need to do or have in order for that to happen. And getting through the mindset of how do I charge premium too. This is it for today. And just so that you know, I'm not selling anything. Like, I'm literally just doing this because I really had it in my heart and I really wanted to get it across to you. And I really wanted you guys to be able to feel like, oh my God, she's right. Like, I don't want you to settle. I really don't want you guys to settle. So I wanted to give you guys all these tools to help you get your biz and your shit together in your biz and move forward. All right, let me know in the comments what resonated with you guys the most, and I will see you guys tomorrow here at noon Eastern again to talk about what the foundations of your business need to be. Ciao.